Okay, next up, Shilpa Alva is the co-founder and executive director of the Surge for Water. Tonight, as she shares her lifelong passion for community development work, she invites you to find yours. Please welcome Shilpa.
How's this? Good? All right. All right. I want to introduce you to my adorable little friend from Croix de Bouquet, Haiti. And I want you to imagine for just one moment that this little boy is somebody you absolutely love, to die for love. Perhaps he's your little brother. He could be your nephew. He could even be your son. This next little girl, she's from Cambodia, and she represents everything that's amazing about childhood. The child within each and every one of us. That beauty, the innocence, the laughter, the joy. Next, this little boy who's coming up very, very soon, he's from Ahmedabad, India. He's from the very same town my father was born in. To me, he represents the connectedness in humanity. He shows me that me and my sister could have very easily been this boy, and I often wonder why we are not. So what do these three children have in common? Each of them was born into an impoverished community that has been affected by a global water crisis that is so incredibly severe that just in the time I've been speaking, 3 children have died of a water-related illness. And I ask you to think about that. This is why I am part of Surge, a volunteer-run, nonprofit organization that brings safe water and sanitation to people most in need. And since our start in 2008, we have brought clean water to 9 countries and over 100,000 people. And our work has only just begun because there are 800 million people right now who lack access to water and nearly 2.5 billion without a toilet. So besides these obvious reasons, sometimes people ask me why I do this, and I refer them to an article I read in The Onion that says, when you do great work, you can change your Facebook profile picture. And yes, those are selfies from the field in Haiti and Cambodia, so I am guilty. But there's another reason, a deeper reason, that takes, yes, I'm going there, I'm taking you all the way back to childhood. A very happy childhood filled with presents, presents for Christmas, for birthdays, and for absolutely no reason at all. We had all the food and water we needed, and we even got to dine at fancy restaurants. But every summer as a child, we'd go to India to visit our extended family. And on those trips, it was really obvious, even to a little girl, that not everybody looked like my mother and I did in this picture. My mom, who's here, by the way. But what we noticed was that children around us had no food or water, and sometimes they did not have hands or legs. And year after year, as we'd go back, 2 things got stronger for me. My understanding of this discrepancy and my burning desire to do something about this, but I didn't know how as a 7-year-old. So finally, when I was in university, as a junior in college, I went back to a remote Indian village. And for the first time, I worked alongside community partners and community members, and worked on all sorts of issues, including water and sanitation. And on this trip, I learned for the first time what it was like to have no water. We could shower once in 3 days. We could only flush the toilet when it was absolutely stinky, and we had to wash our dirty clothes in a dirty river. Many lessons were learned, but 2 important ones that I want to leave here was that a small act of kindness can cause a life-changing difference, and I was so incredibly lucky. As a 20-year-old junior in college, I found a passion that I'm still so passionate about. And with this passion, Surge was founded. And because Surge was founded, I'm going to invite you on a different journey. We're now back in Cambodia. Imagine we're in a little village. We're in the nicest house in this village, but we still don't have running water, a flushable toilet, or windows. To put things in perspective, these are our neighbors, 2 families living in an attached hut. We wake up at the crack of dawn and we're excited to get our day started, to go out to the first school and work on a water project. We get into the back of a truck looking just like that. I'm in that picture. We have to travel 3 hours to get to our first site. It's dusty, it's dirty, it's incredibly hot, and we want to complain because our butts are getting hit against the hot metal of this truck. we're bruised. And if we think about complaining for just one moment, all we need to do is look around us to see this little girl walking to school with no book bag, with no shoes, but she has her bucket because it is her responsibility to fetch water for her family's survival. Something that little girls and women and children everywhere, not everywhere, around the world are doing daily, traveling 6 kilometers a day in often rough terrain. We get to the school and we see signs that say, beware of landmines, because this, after all, was the ex-stomping grounds of the Khmer Rouge. We walk around to assess the situation, and before long, we see this boy so incredibly thirsty that drinking any water is better than no water at all. And this, my friends, is why I am passionate about this cause. And this is why we work tirelessly with our community partners to find solutions. So we build wells, or we fix wells, we build water harvest tanks, or we provide water purification filters. There is not always a solution, and it is not always easy. But that moment when we find that solution, when we are able to fix that well, and we see those children run up to that fresh, flowing, abundant water for the very first time in their entire lives, in their schoolyard, this is joy. This is priceless. And through this experience, even though we've been able to help this community, we have gained so much more. Because by going to that country, they have opened up to us their hearts and taught us about their language, their culture, their music, their food. A country so amazing that it once created the Angkor Wat. And you always leave these experiences better off than when you went to it. This, to me, is my passion. This has been my pursuit of happiness. I am so incredibly lucky that I have found joy in something that gives other people joy. And I believe in the goodness of humanity. And I know that every one of you here does the same thing that I do in your own way. I know that you do something that gives you joy as well. And I ask you today to embrace that and to think about that a little bit more. And do a little bit more of that each and every day. Because I want to create a better world, but I cannot do it alone. I need each of you to do it with me. Thank you.
So we began the evening realizing that nobody collects autographs anymore. But what we do here at PechaKucha is tell stories and share ideas. So I wanted to thank John for sending us all down to Northerly Island tomorrow. Taking my spray paint. Maria, thanks for sharing